Welcome to Having Digital Conversations. I'm totally psyched to be talking to Cameron Parker of Black Milk Clothing and the Dairy today. Cameron has been hailed as one of the best social media marketers in the industry and has successfully launched two well-known brands which many of you will be familiar with, Black Milk Clothing and the Dairy. I'm going to talk to Cameron today about how he used digital and social media to successfully build both of those brands. So for those of you who have been living under a rock and don't know who Black Milk Clothing is, they are a 100% Aussie-owned company with a huge following of raving fans across the world and on many social media platforms. It's great to be talking with you today, Cameron.
Oh, thanks, Tanya. Talk me up here.
Let's start by looking at some of the stats that you guys have on Black Milk, and this always just blows my mind. 711,000 Facebook fans, 954,000 on Instagram, 45,000 on Twitter, and at least 60 meetup groups globally. I mean, that is just a huge network. So tell me, the brand started in 2009. Why social media as a platform to launch the brand from a marketing point of view?
Well, it started, all those years ago, or really only 5, so relatively young, but it started in a kitchen. It started with James, with a little domestic sewing machine, sewing some leggings, and literally had no money. So you don't have the luxury of having this big advertising marketing budget. You have to use what's available. And back then, you had Facebook pages start up for brands, Instagram, and all those. And these are essentially a free channel. And we found pretty quickly that to connect, our customers were posting photos and they were so excited to get it. And then we went, this is awesome. Let's absolutely build a relationship with our customer through social media. It's not costing us any money. And focus on that. And pretty quickly we found that was a great way, when we've got a product we can ship globally and our customers are global and there's a free medium to actually have a conversation. Absolutely, this all made sense, and it was and it just evolved naturally with like that, and we're nearly close to 1 million. Well, we actually hit 1 million on Instagram until the great cull of 2014, and we lost about I think it was about 60,000. But it's been a huge channel for us. Instagram, it's where we get a lot of our user-generated content, and being able to create that noise when we've literally had no money to real spend on traditional advertising medium.
So how long did it actually take you to build a fairly substantial following, I suppose, across, I think Facebook was probably the first one that you guys were really successful on?
Yeah, that was, well, the brand actually started from a blog. Even before the name Black Milk came about. James created a community online through the blog, and it was called Too Many Tights. That was for women who had too many tights in their wardrobe.
And that's such a thing? It's like having too many shoes.
It is. But there are women out there that actually identified with that. And so that's where the community originally started. And it was a way of, I guess, talking about what's happening in the fashion world of legwear, and girls would come and talk about, oh, this is cool, this is what's happening, and James would have that conversation. And then Facebook started, and really it wasn't until last year where Facebook was our biggest platform. But then it started to slow down and Instagram became bigger. But the first years it was kind of slow going. It was getting that momentum. And then in sort of year 2 and 3, then it just really shot up. There were things that we were doing in the business that I guess gained a lot of international PR around things like the muscle leggings. I mean, that just blew up internationally. So it was on all the blogs and going, check out this crazy company in Australia that's doing these leggings with muscles on it. What's going on there? And then things like the Star Wars deal that we did with Lucasfilm, and that just was obviously being talked about all over the internet. Exactly. And everything we did was just focus on pushing people back through our social media and connecting with them. So I think today we're across 16 social media channels, but that's pretty much anywhere a customer is, we want to be too. And each sort of platform has its own strategy.
The best strategy,
absolutely. And I mean, Pinterest has been one that's been, I guess over the year and a half, been one that we've really focused on. And that's a great way of, every month we have a new collection. And so what we do is we use Pinterest as a way of, here's the first exclusive look at Pinterest. And because we're locally made in Australia, we'll go live with that board 4 to 6 weeks out. And with about 80% accuracy, it will predict what our top 10 selling products are.
That's amazing.
And then we'll obviously use the sort of 4 weeks, 5 weeks leading into the release to tweak production. So we'll go, my gosh, that's obviously performing really well on Pinterest, quickly ramp up production, or that one's not doing as well as what we thought, so pull back and we'll reallocate production. So when we go live with a collection, we've got sort of inventory a little bit more accurate. And that's, I guess, the brilliance of being sort of vertically integrated we create everything from scratch here. Behind there's product development.
Yep.
You know, just down the road sewing,
Yep.
and down underneath the building is dispatch. So
you
everything's
can
in
really
house.
react to trends
Absolutely, yeah.
as they happen, and then create a product as something's just happening
Yep.
out in the world. And you go, let's just do something
Completely.
with this completely.
And through social media is where
Yeah.
we find out what they want, what they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much for the first 3-4 years, they could jump on Facebook and actually talk to the key people in the business. Like James was on there, and I was on other channels. But
Yeah.
I mean, how often
You never get to do that.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. And
Yeah.
so when a girl could jump online and go, you know what, I really love these, leggings, but how about doing cats on it or a unicorn? And
Yeah.
James would be there, go, that's a great idea, let's do it. And we'd go talk to the designers, design some up, print it down the road, sew it, and within
Yeah.
24 hours, hey guys, you wanted unicorns, what do you think? It's
Wow.
obviously not as quick these days
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
we're
But
a
from an
bit of a-
engagement point of
yeah.
view, I mean, what an awesome way to engage with your audience and get them really involved
In
with the
real
brand.
time, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So obviously, I've heard about the term Sharkies, as I'm sure most of your fans have.
Yes.
How did the term Sharkies come about? Like, where did that originate from?
It actually came, everything we do is around storytelling. I mean, every product description has a story, the email confirmation, shipping confirmation, everything is like an engaging storytelling piece of copy. So what happened is in sort of that year 2-3 mark, when we were just growing so fast, our website platform that we were using at the time couldn't handle the traffic.
Yep.
On a launch day, we get tens of thousands of girls clicking at 9 o'clock in the morning for a release because everything's quite limited and sells out within minutes. So basically, they would come to the website and it'd crash. And so instead of just a boring, sorry, website crashed, please come again, sorry for the
Yep.
disruption, we put up a story. And the story was being Lady Gaga in a meat suit, the infamous
Yes,
meat
yes,
suit,
yes.
in an ocean, and an apex predator, known as the shark, coming
Yeah.
to attack us. And it was nom 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 and destruction, and there's blood, and it's fierce, predator
Yeah, feeding
devouring,
frenzy,
feeding
yep,
frenzy.
yep.
And the shark obviously became, the customers
Evolved.
evolved into Sharkies, and that's where the whole Sharky ravages, predator coming, attacking us and nomming all the nylon. So that's where Sharkies came about. And that's where the community took on that name, and there's this official mascot, and that's where all the shark references and
Yeah.
underwater sea creature, and it's a lot of layers to the brand.
So obviously your community is really sort of latched onto that, pun intended, I suppose.
Yeah, literally.
Literally latched onto that term and uses that as part of the conversations that you guys have. I noticed one of the other big things that you guys are very good at doing is building those sorts of communities where people are really sort of becoming involved in the brand and having a voice. Was that a strategy, or did that just again organically sort of happen?
Well, it was a strategy in terms of let's actually have a real close, genuine relationship with our customer. No, let's not even think about it, but friends. And that's what we were doing through social media. We were actually first name basis. We knew what they liked, and we were actually talking to them.
Yeah.
And then around once again that sort of year 2-3 mark, a girl from sort of the sort of middle Central America who loved our brand, but no one in her town wore black milk.
Yeah.
And she could see all the girls posting selfies on Facebook and Instagram, and she was already talking to them, and she sent me an email and said, hey, I would love to actually connect and set up a group.
The brand ambassador type thing,
and connect with other women, talk about, there's a couple of pieces I don't really wear as much anymore and I'd love to swap them, like trading cards, and so what a great idea. And I think that's why it evolved to where it became so big, is that it was never this contrived marketing initiative or strategy where it seemed forced.
Yeah.
It was all very natural, and my role was really fostering it and encouraging it, and being like a principal in an all-girls
Directing
school,
it,
and exactly, and just guiding it, and that's really what I did, and that's where it's now like 60 groups, geographic locations, special hobbies and interests. There's film clubs, book clubs, health, you sort of get fit clubs, everything you could imagine, and that's broken down.
Do you guys
now.
even know that, think that you know all of the communities and stuff?
No, there's some that are more like,
there's a lot of stuff that you don't necessarily even know about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's like more unofficial where they, there's official ones that call themselves black milk, blah blah blah. All these, and they're sort of more unofficial, that they're not on the sort of black milk tab.
Yeah.
It's like Sharky's doing this, and there'd be more than that. But that's the beautiful thing, where they've met through to a love of
Underground
nylon.
movement for black milk. Yeah.
And it's honestly, the stories that I've heard are incredible, and that's where James and I have actually toured around the world.
I heard you
catching
part
up.
about partying up in Vegas.
And
with
Mallorca.
Sharkies
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, it's just such a powerful tool in terms of actually
Yeah.
connecting with your customers and listening to them and spending time like,
Yeah.
us sitting right now. So how you going? What do you
Yeah.
like? What don't you like?
Yeah.
There's companies that spend tens of thousands of dollars on market research, but it's very clinical in a room and it's kind of forced. And this is very natural. It's just
and real. People
and
can
real,
relate to
very
it.
real.
Yeah. So you guys, I know, are setting up distribution in the US and other parts of the world and so forth. I know there's different social media platforms in Asia, for example. How has your social strategy changed in some of those markets compared to what you guys have done here to build the brand up?
That next stage
locally?
it's starting to evolve. With LA, we launched that in October last year.
Yeah.
So we've already just recently have its own Instagram and its own Facebook page, obviously, because there's going to be localized content that needs to be pushed out. But we haven't focused on Asia or anything at the moment. But we're starting to obviously start to fragment beyond just the main Black Milk channel. Even the cafe here has its own Instagram account now. So we're slowly fragmenting more and more, and we've obviously got activewear, and the Black Milk gym page has its own page as well. So even when I say 16, if you multiply that by even just, we've got how many? Probably 4 actual branded Facebook pages. Wow. So that's why I have a big social media team. That their job's purely just to be on there, And
is it 24/7?
No, not yet. It's sort of 2 shifts a day from 7:30 to 3:30, 3:30 10:30, sort of 7 days a week, 365 days a year, apart from public holidays. But now that we have obviously an LA office, while we're asleep, someone in LA will start. So you could be rest assured if you have a question and you've got a sizing, you jump on Facebook pretty quick, quicker than sending us an email. And a lot of girls obviously just jump onto Facebook or Twitter. Hey, I'm thinking about this. How does this fit? And someone will answer you pretty quickly.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I love hearing the story about how it all has all evolved for you. So, I know you guys are using Shopify on the website. So how have platforms like that really sort of helped you grow from an international perspective as well, and sort of engage in some of those international markets? Because obviously having a huge amount of traffic to your website, needing to find solutions and so forth, obviously Shopify is a great solution for that. How have those sorts of platforms sort of helped you growing the brand?
I think Black Milk came about in just this perfect time where all the social media platforms started coming about, like Pinterest, Instagram. So it gave, I guess, a business that had no money to be able to market themselves internationally, essentially for free, or very cheaply, depending on content creation. But you can do that still pretty cheaply. And then in terms of online, I remember you talked 10 years ago, to set up an online website, it would cost tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah. And then around the same time that we came about, there were things like BigCommerce and BigCartel and all the other ones that came about that time. And obviously we went through some trial and error, what one was best for us, and that's where obviously our website was crashing, but then cost of service. But then Shopify as a platform, in terms of just paying a monthly subscription, and it's like perfect. And back then when we first went, we didn't have tens of thousands of dollars of budget to actually invest in developers. So a platform like that is just perfect. And I know so many people these days that are, have side hobbies and businesses and just go, I'm going to give it a go because it's kind of cost effective now. Yeah. Shopify, you can download a free template and pay $50 a month, and it's just something. It's not going to be, you don't have to invest too much capital to actually just, hey, I've got this idea. Give it a go. And you can. And we're still on Shopify today, but we have a great relationship with them. And obviously we have an in-house development team that obviously there's some shortcomings and some features, but it's basically dependent on how much you can invest in all that. So things like that were great. Once again, 5 years ago when you're starting a business, you don't have a lot of money, and every cent you do make, you want to put it back into the product. We need a bigger, faster, better sewing machine, or we need to buy more stock. That's where we invested the money, and it needed to. So
and that's a familiar story. Many growing businesses are the same. If they've only been, they're only starting out, they don't have a huge amount of cash to put into developing those sorts of platforms. No. And I think hearing what you guys have done from a digital perspective, I think will inspire a lot of other people who are going through the same thing. Going, well, we don't have a huge marketing budget, exactly like what you guys have done.
And you don't need it. Apart from my marketing is
obviously being smarter with what you're doing and more creative.
My marketing, obviously my marketing is my marketing team, which we have in-house. So that's around all that content creation, photo shoots and events. We've had a budget for events to actually go meet our customers, but beyond that, we've just, very limited. Very limited. So you don't need those big dollars as much anymore. Okay. And I guess, we're a testament to that.
Well, you're proof. Yeah. So what's been the biggest marketing challenge that you guys have had given that you really use social media to build the brand, what's the biggest challenges that you've had along the way?
Oh, just hold on. It's a roller coaster ride. I mean, social media as itself is a relatively new industry, and you know, no one's an expert. Every day you got to learn something new.
Constantly changing.
It's constantly changing. It's not like you can kind of go to too many books or reference material. How do you do this? Like even just building an online community of 60 groups and thousands of women. Like how do you even control that? And it becomes its own beast. You know, so it's just trial and error. Like we've made many mistakes, some pretty big ones, you know, and we're not the last ones to make a mistake, but I think the mistake is not giving something a go. And so for us from a marketing point of view, it's just, look, we don't know what, you know, we don't claim to be an expert in this area. Let's just give it a go, try it out. And the beautiful thing is you kind of learn pretty quickly what doesn't work in social media or online. So you just adapt, and as long as you're nimble and you can kind of fix up your mistakes pretty quickly and learn from them.
That's the important thing, as you said. Like when you do, you know, and as you said, there's been things happen in the past, and they probably weren't handled in the right way to start with. But the fact that you guys own up to it and say, "Oh, look, you know,
we screwed up,
and this is what we're going to do to fix it," that says a lot about the brand and the culture. Because a lot of businesses never want to admit to being wrong. They're like, "Oh no, it wasn't our fault." They want, you know, it's the blame game. But I think that's a real testament to the culture of Black Milk and the fact that you don't profess to be experts in everything, and that, hey, we're still learning as well.
We're human.
And people can relate to that, so it really makes the brand even more relatable than what it already has been.
Yeah, it's pretty raw. So so we've made mistakes. So there's lots of challenges around that, and we've just given it a go. So what do you see as probably the biggest benefits for you? So if I say, what are the top 3 benefits of using digital to grow a brand? From your perspective, what do you think they are? Oh, look, I mean, if you look back once again with the things I've sort of spoken about, over the past sort of 5-6 years, just the cost entry, just give it a go. Like social media, if we didn't have, I've kind of said if it wasn't for Facebook, I wouldn't even be here talking to you today.
So you
literally
ring Mark Zuckerberg.
Thanks, Mark.
And say, Mark.
Yeah, seriously, like if it wasn't for things like social media, you know, there was a good year there where we were asking experts in the industry and in the fashion community on what should we do, and they were, you know, constantly saying you need to go off to Asia for manufacturing. You need to be stocked in this store on this street to make it big in the online fashion world. And we were going, oh, maybe that's not the case. So challenging make our own rules and challenge all those assumptions in terms of what it means to be in fashion. No, you can be made in Australia. We can sell pretty much 100% online, and you know, kind of market ourselves through social media.
And still build a brand and make a profit and be a successful business.
Exactly. And so we challenged all those. So, you know, did I answer the question? Yeah. I think I started to waffle.
You did. So I hear you talk a lot to people about social media being a tool for engagement, customer service, market research. And I think that's one thing that most brands really don't do well in that space. They want to use it as a push strategy and push out sales messages and so forth. Do you see that area changing much for you? Obviously you've proven that success in using it as a research tool and as an engagement tool, and certainly from a building communities point of view has been hugely successful. Do you think that's going to change much in the evolution of social media sort of moving forward sort of in the next sort of 12 to 18 months?
It's interesting. I mean, with so many platforms, and I mean for us, each platform has its own sort of tone and a sort of strategy. So I think, you know, we just keep trial and error. I mean, for us, it's never about that push sales. As soon as, I mean, it's social. So, you know, everything we do is actually authentic in terms of having a conversation with your customer. So, you know, and adding value, you know, through, you know, what do you think of this? And the behind the scenes actually get to come along through the journey and the development.
Two-way communication.
Absolutely. So we've never been one that just push that sales strategy, and I think if we did, we wouldn't have the engagement that we've obviously been able to do. So
and you guys have done user generated content so well. I mean, I imagine that's something that the brand will continue to do. But how do you see that evolving? I mean, we're seeing things like video becoming more and more important, and obviously Facebook and those sorts of brands are really engaging that. Is there something that you think, hey, this is going to be the next sort of big area that we should be looking at from an engagement point of view?
Well, I think in terms of user-generated content, that's been a key thing for us. I mean, 3 years ago, I spoke to a developer and said, is there some code you can write to basically, I've got all these amazing selfies on Instagram and Facebook, can you just somehow writes something that pulls it and then populates on the, and he did, it was genius.
Awesome.
And so that's where we developed, you know, each product has its own hashtag.
Yeah.
That was incredible because when we are online, you can't kind of touch and feel it. What sells the product is not the, you know, 6 foot long model that no one can really relate to, but it's all the hundreds of photos of customers at all different shapes and sizes and how they style. That's what sells it. I still am surprised today how many brands don't really leverage that, that social proof.
I love that word, leverage.
Yeah,
I thought the L word.
The L word.
The leverage
Oh,
word.
I just go to a website and going, how are you not, you know, encouraging your customers to post that? And maybe some brands are scared of that. I don't know, but
and leveraging across channel as well.
Yeah.
I think they think they have to stick to doing one thing on a channel rather than looking at how they leverage it across everything they're doing from a marketing perspective, not just digital as well, but, you know, traditional marketing.
Yeah, so I think there's still a long way to go with that because that's so powerful. Like, and that's free content. It's your customers, they're the brand champions, and I mean, it's not suitable for every brand, but like obviously in fashion, that's like perfect. That's marketing gold.
Yeah.
Is the girl that's taken a photo of herself wearing it. She looks like a total boss and looks amazing.
Yeah.
Well, can I have that content? And yes, and they get really excited that we post it on. I mean, I've got email.
You know, everyone loves seeing a photo of themselves, you know.
Seriously, if there's a photo that doesn't appear, they'll email me and go, oh, didn't you like my photo? No, actually, if you have a look at the hashtag, you've actually spelt it wrong. That's why it didn't appear. Because we don't moderate beyond that. It's like, you look amazing. And it doesn't matter how you look. So, yeah, I'm surprised still to this day how many brands don't really even make the most of that or encourage it, you know.
So let's move on and talk a bit more about the dairy. So obviously you're the founder of the dairy, and I have to show this fabulous phone case. Kerry has limited
she's
edition
talented
design,
artist.
you know. But I mean, you guys have obviously only been around for a couple of years, so it's a lot newer from a brand perspective. So given the success of what you've done with Black Milk, how have you sort of taken that and utilised the success of that and what you've done with the dairy?
Well, I think what I learned a lot with Black Milk is just keeping it local, being vertically integrated, and being able to sort of keep it scalable. So these are all, you know, made in Brisbane. Once again, starting a business with no money, so thanks to Shopify. You know, and building a community around sort of phone cases in terms of people that not just wanting the Hello Kitty cheap Don Monte stuff that will last and scrape and like, so high quality. And I kind of wanted to test it out.
A number of months now, it's sort of scratch on it.
See, there you go. See, so I think I just wanted to see can I kind of do it again. You know, I don't need lots of money to do it, and another product that's perfect for selfies and stuff like that. So I guess I just used all those principles: being online, sell globally, use social media as a way of generating content, building a fan base, connecting with your customers, and I guess just using all those principles again. And I just wanted to see if I could do that again. Obviously, it's not a Black Milk beast, but just see. But I guess just trying it out and seeing can it kind of work again, and using those same things that we've spoken about today. And it's been good to see that. They do transfer across. It's not one size fits all. I've had to adapt it. And it's been a great way just to experiment with other more traditional. Black Milk's such a unicorn and a beast. I mean, we don't do any even affiliate marketing or retargeting. So the dairy gave me an opportunity to sort of, I guess, test out some more traditional online advertising marketing tools. So that's been fun too.
And of course, you know, you guys have got some great collaborations happening and some great limited edition designs and all that sort of stuff, which, again, I suppose like the Black Milk brand, when you've got things like that are really sort of unique, really sort of connect with an audience as well.
I mean, that all started with Star Wars with Black Milk, and then you look at the Disney, and then Game of Thrones, HBO collaboration. Just that strategic partnerships. Even Soulstruck, the shoe company that we worked with. I mean, our models were wearing shoes from them, and we kind of sent them an email and said, hey, all the shoes that we, photograph with, girls just ask, where do you get them from? So we sort of started this relationship with Soulstruck, BFFs, and you get your amazing clothes from here, and you get your amazing shoes from Soulstruck. And then we've just done one with Spirit Hoods, and because our customers were wearing them, I thought, we should work with these guys, and we sort of paired up and
collaborating.
Collaborations. I mean, once again, it's an awesome opportunity.
I'm the same. I don't understand why more brands don't do more, collaborative partnerships and really sort of go, how can we
work together?
Find complementary businesses that we can really work together. And I think there's a very underutilized space.
Well, I think that comes down if you don't have that strong connection with your customers, because literally, once again, these came out with talking to our customers, and at meetups, they were wearing these hooded, things. They're really cool, and they go, oh my God, I love them. They're made in LA. They're awesome. And then you'd see them all the time and go, these are probably someone, our customers are wearing them.
Yeah.
They wear our clothes, so maybe we should talk. And
Yeah.
it just came from hanging out and seeing what they're wearing, and same with the shoes. And it's like with this,
Evolved
stalking it.
naturally.
Yeah, and you just see, if you have a real intimate, close relationship, you'll see, what's in their life.
Yeah.
And that's where those strategic partnerships and collaborations come from.
Cool.
It's not forced, it's very natural and it's already there.
Yeah, organically sort of grows. Okay, so as a marketer, if I said to you could only use 2 social media platforms, and I know that's hard given that you guys are across so many, what would they be?
2.
Just
Do you know
two,
what? I would even just go
choose 2
one.
only.
It's just Instagram.
one?
I would just go,
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a massive fan. I remember, 3 years ago, being on my Christmas break, and what's this Instagram thing? And, checking it out, and then, oh, wow, there's all these Black Milk customers in there posting photos. I love this.
Yeah.
And I was just obsessed since then. And I even just look at my friends who have sort of taken a step back from Facebook, and it's so expensive as a marketer because you've got to pay to promote.
Well, these days you do, don't you?
Otherwise you don't get the reach.
Reaches no one. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just love Instagram. It's where everyone's so time poor, and I just find if you look at people's phones these days, they're all on the Instagram. It's just quick and immediate, very visual, and as long as you produce content that's relevant, doesn't look salesy, I just love that. I love Instagram. Yeah. So I'm just a big fan. If there was nothing else in the world, and there was one, just leave me with Instagram. I'm a happy man. But interesting to see what happens now that they're doing those sponsored posts and see how fans of Instagram react to their feed being populated with paid.
Facebook have done it, Twitter have done it. Like they're all, all at some point, most
they've
channels
got to make money.
are going to start to go, how do we monetize
Exactly.
this? So it comes, it only stands to reason that Instagram are going to follow suit.
Exactly. Owned by Mark, he's got to make some money back. So, I just give me Instagram.
Instagram and you're happy.
I was on a deserted island with internet connection to one point.
Okay, I love it. Okay. Can you tell us more about the new project? Now, obviously, you're finishing up at Black Milk.
I am.
And you have a new project, which is Sunday Somewhere. So tell us a bit more about what you're going to be doing with that.
Yeah, well, I met the team there at the end of last year, and that's a brand only sort of 3-4 years old. And locally, again, they produce their own eyewear and optical, all designed in Australia, manufactured in Japan and overseas. And they've done really well. They've expanded heaps. About 80% of their sales are overseas. And I was really drawn to the brand. Black Milk's such a big beast now. And I'm really proud of what I've been part of and created. It was kind of like, oh, what next? And so I got talking to these guys, and they said, hey, we're looking to, really drive the brand forward from e-commerce, because they're traditionally in sort of the distribution wholesale market. Love what you've done with Black Milk. Can we chat? And so kind of met the team and loved what they were doing and sort of their vision for the future in terms of online. And I guess the name said itself in terms of Sunday Somewhere. There's a real attitude about that. Exactly. And I love traveling, and I used to work in London a couple of years ago, and I miss it so dearly. So this sort of gave me an opportunity to get back to London, and they're relocating the head office. So I'm pretty excited to get back in a brand and get into that sort of grassroots
level.
Grassroots, and I guess activate that brand in terms of the storytelling and building that community, not like a Sharky community, but community around the brand. So I'm kind of really excited to get my hands dirty again.
Awesome, I love it. So it's going to be a big year for you.
Yeah, I just got to jump on board now and to see what happens. It's been a great 5 years with Black Milk, and it's kind of at that point that I'm super proud. But what's that next challenge? What's that?
The next big thing.
That's right. So I'm super excited. So
love it.
Let's just start 2015 and see where it goes.
Yep. I think it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Cameron.
Pleasure, Tanya.
It's been great. I love talking about, I can talk about digital till the cows come home.
Couldn't
I know
you?
we share that love of digital and social media, but really appreciate you taking the time out to have a chat to us today. So guys, if you want to know more about the brand, you can check out Black Milk, the dairy, and Sunday Somewhere on the links below. Make sure you have a look at what these guys are doing from a marketing point of view. You can learn some really fabulous lessons, and make sure you connect with them on their social media channels if you aren't already. And we look forward to talking to you again soon. I'm Tanya Williams from Digital Conversations.